Okay, so let's get started. I'm sorry. Thank you for reminding me, Thanh Mai and Quang Minh. So I've been talking a lot, but nobody listened to me. Nobody hear me at all, right? So let me get started again. Do you hear me well now? Does it work? Thanh Mai, did you hear me? Okay, it's perfect now. Excellent. Okay. I've said several less important things at the beginning of the class. As usual, I said that okay, welcome to the class again. Welcome to the Zoom online space. And I believe that you're not new to online learning anymore because in the past 2 years, we have a lot of like waves of online learning, mingling with face-to-face learning, right? So it is not something new. And I'm glad because anyway, we have completed one of the most important jobs of the class face-to-face already. So I'm not very worried about your class anymore because from now to the end of the class, from now to the end of the semester, we will work on your final project for the most part. So it is very easy for me to give you advice on Zoom. It's so no problem at all. So last week you did. So I hope that you're fine. Huh? If you're still in Ho Chi Minh City, try to be safe and protect yourself. Isolate yourself a little bit so that you don't want to hang out with a lot of people, in a kind of like a closed space. Okay, and if you are in your hometown, I hope you enjoy your time with your family and strike a balance between family time and your studies at the same time, especially when it is the time when you have to complete a lot of assignments. All right. Okay, so 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 last week we did a very very important part of the class. That is, you decided on your research question and research topic, and some of you even completed your list of reading articles for your writing as well. I just checked the Google Doc, and some of you still have not finished everything. So if you have not done so, please complete it as soon as possible because it is a very good starting point. If you keep, delaying, you will be late because, in the past several weeks and, every semester, I've listened to a lot of complaints from students about their burdensome workload with a lot of assignments and deadlines. And that means, it is because you wait until the last minute to do it. So that's why now I encourage you to kick off your writing as soon as possible so that you can spread your time a little bit so that you don't have to work too hard by the end of the semester. Okay, so let's get started. Don't delay, don't procrastinate anymore. Please get started as soon as possible. All right, so we have two main parts in the class this morning. The first one is we talk about, I want to double check your progress on the final project. And then for the second part of the class, I will talk about writing result section. So far we've been covering abstract, introduction, methodology, and now it's time to talk about results, even though the results section is not included in your final project at all. Okay, but anyway, you need to understand everything, every single part of the research paper so that when you write your thesis, you know how to do it. Okay, so to begin with, why don't you go to the Google Doc again, and maybe you spend maybe 5 minutes with your partner to complete or revise your research topic and research questions, if necessary. If you've never done so, because some of you were absent last week, please do so as soon as possible right now. Please go to the Google Doc and discuss among yourselves for about 5 minutes and complete or revise or change anything on the Google Doc right now before I start talking about the results section. Or if you have any questions about the final project, about a research question, about the materials, so on and so forth, please let me know, okay? For example, the group Nguyễn Duy, Hoàng Thông, Lã Tiến Thành, you still don't have the research question just yet, and of course you don't list the materials just yet. Please complete them as soon as possible. Okay. And the same, it is the case for Trần Nguyễn Anh Thư and Bùi Nguyễn Thiên Thu as well. And the same for Nguyễn Nhi. Why don't you share your reading materials, Nguyễn Nhi, to the Google Doc? Same for Trần Bảo Trâm and Nguyễn Thị Xuân Hân. Okay, please list your reading materials. And Nguyễn Phi Long, Nguyễn Khoa, reading materials, please. And Đinh Thị Hồng Vui and Trần Thị Hoàng Ngân, the same. Okay. And the same for Ngô Văn Hiếu, Nguyễn Thị Hồng Nhi, and Trần Anh Thư. Then Nguyễn Mai Thanh, Lê Đình Khánh. Trần Thị Yến Nhi, yeah, the same. Okay, so please complete the spaces on the Google Doc as soon as possible. And from next week on, I will give further advice for sure, but individually. For example, next week, I don't give a long lecture anymore. I just give one lecture on discussion section. That's all. That is the end of the theory section of the class. And this is week 12, or this is session 11, but this is week 12. So we've got a few more weeks to go, and I reserve the last 2 or 3 weeks for like individual one-on-one consultation on your final project. So we don't have any lectures anymore in the last 2 or 3 weeks of the semester. And for sure, because this is week 12 and we are in session 11, that means we've got to arrange a makeup class very soon. I think it is online, so it should be very easy. And again, I try to arrange the makeup class so that I don't teach theories. I just, kind of like one-on-one consultation, so that it is, if you somehow you miss the class, you don't have to worry about the missing new knowledge that you may got in the class otherwise. Okay, so do you have any questions about the final project requirements or something like that? If so, please raise your question right now, okay? And even though I give you some more time next week to do so as well. But again, please get started right now. Don't delay, don't procrastinate anymore, okay? I'm worried that you may be late at the end of the semester, and I cannot accept late submission because I needed time to create the papers and submit the score to the university as well, right? So, so to begin with, I'd like to say something about writing. Okay, the writing process. Writing is not a linear process. What I mean is that when you write a paper, you don't write once for all. That means you don't write once and you've completed. You're done. No, it is not how writing works. Usually when you write a paper, you have to write multiple times. That means you write a paper, you write something, then tomorrow you get back and you change it a little bit, you revise it a little bit, you add something new. Then the third day you get back and you add something more to it as well. So don't expect to complete your paper within one shot of writing. It is impossible. Okay, so your writing could be terrible at first. It's fine. Just be terrible. Just write something down. Don't delay. Don't procrastinate. Do something. Write something down. Then you add something little by little, bit by bit to it. Over the time, you've got a complete paper. That's the way it is. So writing is never a one-shot process. Writing takes a lot of time to get back and revise it again and again. Okay, that is how writing works. And even for professional writers, even for professors, even for anybody in academia, it is the same process. It is not a linear, direct process at all. It is a circular process with a lot of effort and a lot of times of revising the paper. Okay, so now let's move on to the lecture in the class this morning. Okay, so for this morning we just simply talk about results section. Okay. Okay. Okay, so some reminders on the final project. Um, Please revise your topic and research question if necessary. It is kind of flexible, you know. So um, what I want you to do is a kind of real learning in the classroom, authentic learning, you know, because you pay the tuition fee to the university classroom so that you can learn something real. If you just want to pass the class, it's very easy, right? But if you want to learn something new, something real, something authentic, something useful, it is important to spend some time on it. Okay, so if you think the topic is not very interesting or the topic is not very relevant, so you can choose a new one. Or you can change a little bit of the topic. You don't have to choose a new one, but you could revise it a little bit, and you can change the research question as well. So at this stage of your education, you don't have to, you know, you don't have to be a perfectionist. You know, there's no perfect question right now, because you don't write a real paper just yet. So if your topic, your research topic, a research question is clear enough, you know, and when then you can analyze some key concepts so that you can do literature review. That is good enough. It could be too broad, you know, for a real research project, but it is fine if the research topic and the research question include some very clear concepts that you can easily review. That's fine. Okay. And deadline again is week 16. That is the reserve week, and that is on June the 10th at 11:59 p.m. That is just below before midnight of Thursday. Okay, and start writing now. Don't procrastinate. And again, you have to revise it again and again. You know, for this semester. Em ơi, mình trong cái phần list review đó là mình không có viết theo ý mình, mà mình tổng hợp ý của người ta thôi. Okay. Okay, now I say again, class. So, you know, so far in the program, you've been learning about essay and research paper writing, right? So essay is when you write, you express your opinions based on your personal opinions. But for the research paper, especially for the review section, you don't do that. You have to summarize, you have to synthesize the information from many sources, not your opinions, right? So, okay, that's a very good question. Okay, no, don't rely on your personal opinions anymore, but integrate information from other sources. Of course, you can use your language to lead the argument in a certain way, but for the most part, the main content is coming from the other reference materials. Any more questions? All right. So let's begin with the second part about result section right now. Again, the result section is not tested in any ways. It is not part of your final project, but it is something you need to know because you have to write this section next year when you write your thesis before you graduate from the international university. Okay. So you see on the screen that we've got abstract, introduction, materials, or methods, right? And then results and discussion conclusion, and of course, finally, preferences, right? So the result section, along with the methodology sections, are two central report section. Okay, so you do whatever you wanted to. You write abstract, you could write terrible abstract, you could write terrible introduction, right? But your methodology and your results are the most important parts in your research report. Because what if what is it for if you do research and you produce no results, right? The result is everything we need, so in a research study. So methodology and results, the two central parts of any research report. Okay, so the result is important, but it's extremely hard to teach about how to write the result section. You know why? Because it's very complicated. It's really complicated. There's no formula. There's no structure at all for a result section. But of course, but in our class this morning, I give you some general guidelines on how to organize or how to structure your result section so that it is making sense. Okay. Now to begin with, I've just uploaded to Blackboard session 11 two research articles. Why don't you open them? So I can open them together. So let's have a look together. Okay. Two research articles. The first one is about okay, so let I will share it to you, okay, so that we can have a look together. Okay, the first one. New share. The first one is sample number 1. You can check it out from your Blackboard as well. Okay. So we have read this paper multiple times, right? And we have discovered one by one. We have to explore section by section before. So the first one is, of course, the abstract, right? Abstract is here on the screen. Okay. The second one is, of course, introduction, right? This is introduction, the title and introduction. The title is a very, very characteristic of English speaking culture. That is, the title has two parts. One, one main term, and then one explanation, divided by one column. For example, running empty column, effects of food deprivation on concentration and perseverance. Okay, this is introduction section. Okay, and if you skip scrolling down, you see in this case literature review is included, is embedded into introduction, right? It is not a separate into a lit review section, but for your paper I expect a kind of separate lit review section, please. And then methodology or method section, right? Okay, and then now results. Okay. So I'd like to invite you to download the paper again from your computer and go through the result section for a few minutes before you answer my question. Okay, please read the result section from this paper on your computer, and then after a few minutes, please answer my question. All right, I give you around 5 minutes to do so. Okay, now please answer my question. All right. So the first question is, what did you see in this section results? Anh Khoa, Quang Minh.
Yes, teacher.
So the question is, what did you see in this result section?
Uh, they like summarize on the data they have conducted above, and they tell us the conclusion that they have made.
Um,
Like
yeah, maybe not conclusion, but the findings, right? The findings. For example, when you conduct an experiment on a new medicine for COVID-19, right? So you say that it is an experiment. So when you say it is an experiment, it is a kind of methods. And then after you conduct the experiment, you find out that okay, this medicine can help. So this medicine can help. That is, the results. Okay. So you see a lot of words, a lot of text, and a lot of numbers, right? A lot of numbers and a lot of graphs, charts as well. You see what I mean? Yeah. This is a very this is a very typical feature of result section. That is, you've got a lot of numbers, you've got a lot of visual or charts in this way, right? Now, I want you to look at the second paper on Blackboard. Please open the second paper on Blackboard. Research paper 3 about cancer and instant noodle. And please look at that result section as well. Everybody, please. Oh, I did. I think I did. Let me see. Let double check it. All right. Session 11. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I uploaded to the wrong class. Okay. So I will upload it right now. Okay. Give me a second. Okay, upload it. Have you got it? Session 11. Excellent. Okay. Now look at the second one, the sample research paper 3, instant noodle and cancer. Please look at the result section of that paper. Okay, my question. How many tables do you see in this paper, in this section? How many tables do you see? Class? How many tables do you see in this result section of this paper about instant noodle and cancer? Yeah, 3 in total, exactly. Okay, so beside the 3 tables with a lot of numbers for sure, right? Do you see a lot of text as well? A lot of words, a lot of text as well? Yes or no? Yes, right. Okay, so as in yeah. So I think 3 tables. I think let me say again. In the result section, you see okay, let's see result 1, 2, 3, three tables. Okay, 5 tables in total, but 3 tables in the result section. Okay. So there's both tables and tables and charts in the result section, right? And you may wonder why do we have to? Because if you include tables or a pie chart or something like that, it is normal, right? Because it is the results. But why text? Is it enough to just present the numbers? Okay, no, right? So so usually when it comes to results, you usually think about okay, just numbers or results. No, but it is more than that because the results alone, cannot make sense to the reader, and that's why you yourself have to explain the result as well. So after the experiment, you've got a result in form of a table, a pie chart, something like that. Or if you use SPSS or you use some statistical application, they produce kind of number. That's all. But result is more than that. You have to explain the result in your words as well. Okay. So this section is very important because results or the numbers don't speak for themselves. You have to explain the results. You have to explain the visual representation of data. Okay. So when you show me just a pie chart or table, I don't understand anything at all. Or it takes me maybe 5, 10 minutes to understand what the result is all about. But if you give me some explanation, I will understand the numbers more easily. So a result section includes both a text and numbers. Numbers usually in form of tables or charts. Okay? Results don't speak for themselves. That is the message. Okay. So just imagine you've got this kind of like chart. It's beautiful, isn't it? But but how can you understand it? You understand every single word on the chart very easily, right? You don't understand it. Overall, finding you don't get it. Right. In the same manner, if you look at this one, it is simply a chart about effects of diet on blood glucose of male something mice after 5 months of feeding. Okay. You can understand something about this chart, but you may not understand everything. It's extremely hard to understand if you don't have the explanation from the researcher. So you need some explanation along with this figure, this table, okay, this chart. Or this one. It's beautiful organized. It is beautiful, right? But then what is going on then? You need further explanation from people. So in conclusion, the results section includes both tables, or we call it visuals, because it could be a chart, it could be a graph, it could be a table, right? And the text or the explanation from you. Okay, so both in the results section. Results don't speak for themselves. They're just numbers. Okay. Now, I want you to take some time, okay? Spend some time. Take your time. Be patient and have a look and read through this sample result section from your textbook, actually, from your textbook. So I will, move the slide after about 3 minutes. So please read the text now. I'd like to invite somebody to read aloud the text, please. It is the best way for online learning, I think. Volunteers? That was a girl with an excellent English pronunciation. Could you read this text again, please? Data obtained from previous studies using a fixed on-site monitor indicated that travel by car resulted in lower carbon dioxide monoxide exposure than travel on foot. According to figure AO 1999, the median exposure of the car passengers was 11% lower than for those walking. In our study, model emission rates were obtained using the traffic emission model or TEM a carbon monoxide exposure modeling framework developed by CAR. Model results were compared with actual roadside carbon monoxide concentrations measured hourly at a fixed monitor. Figure 1 shows the results obtaining using TEM. So no table, no numbers just yet, just words, just explanation, right? As can be seen during the morning peak time journeys to this carbon monoxide concentrations for car passengers were significantly lower than for pedestrians, which is consistent with results obtained in previous studies. However, the model data were not consistent with these results for afternoon journeys. Eight, although the mean CO concentrations modeled by TEM for afternoon journeys on food were in line with those of figure AO, a striking difference was noted when each of the 3 peak hours was considered singly, figure 2. It can be observed that during the first hour of the peak period, journeys on food resulted in a considerably lower level of carbon monoxide exposure. Although levels of journeys on food generally exceeded those modeled for car journeys during H2, during the last hour or something. Okay, so I don't want to read anymore because I don't want you to fall asleep, okay? But what you can see is that, the numbers or the figures is usually embedded, inserted into your verbal explanation. You see what I mean? Right. And in general, okay, let me move quickly. Okay, so sentence 1 and sentence 2, they refer to the findings and conclusions obtained by other researchers. Nó rất là giống cái review. Ha. Bây giờ tụi em bắt đầu bối rối tại sao phần này người ta cũng là rút review nữa. You wonder, right? Tụi em nhớ là khi chúng ta viết cái phần result đó, là chúng ta không có chỉ viết thẳng cái result liền. Tại vì khi đó, là người ta sẽ rất là bối rối, cái người đọc đó, người ta bất ngờ. Mình phải chuẩn bị tâm lý cho người ta ha. Mình phải lặp lại nhiều lần lắm để cho cái người đọc ta nó dễ hiểu. Chứ còn mình cái viết phần đúng phần đó thôi thì người ta sẽ không nhớ thông tin. Giống như tụi em thấy khi ta viết luận đó là mình có introduction, đúng chưa? Nhưng mà tụi em vẫn có cái conclusion. Thì mình mới hỏi là tại sao cần conclusion? Trong khi mọi ý tứ mình đã để hết trơn rồi, conclusion làm cái gì? Nhưng mà mình vẫn phải cần, tại vì mình giúp cho người đọc người ta nhớ thông tin. Okay, so the principle here is that, so you don't start by describing results right away, because that way is difficult for the reader. Okay, so you start by offering an overview of the current situation. Okay, or you refer back to the previous sections, something like that. Okay, for example, the aims of research or specific research problem you're focusing on, or the methodology, or the original prediction or assumption to be tested, or findings of other research in this area, so on and so forth. Something else. You don't write about result right away. So we have an English idiom called beat around the bush. You know this one? Beat around the bush. Okay. So you should beat around the bush a little bit, right? Don't go straight to the results. Okay. And let me put it here. Beat around the bush. Okay, it is an English idiom, right? Nó lòng vòng một tí xíu. Yeah, tức là mình dẫn nhập, mình chuẩn bị cho người đọc ha, mình transition cho người đọc. I know, Caitlin, I know. I understand. I know you raised the question right away. Yeah. But no. So again, like this. In scientific writing, you should be very clear, very straightforward, very direct. Exactly. Right. But your job is to make sure that your writing is accessible to the readers. Right. So sometimes you have to repeat your information once or twice. Sometimes you try to create good transition between one part to the other. You know what I mean? So by repeating the methodology, something like that, you help the reader to, refresh their mind a little bit. Last week, when I talk about introduction, for example, in the introduction section, you've got the review, right? Then you've got a separate review section. You see what I mean? It's still there, still some overlapping, you know. So the purpose is to help the reader to connect easily. That's all. And in the same manner, in your introduction section, you've got background, little review, brief little review, research gap, right? At the current study. In the current study, you mentioned, problem statement, you mentioned research question, research objective, research hypothesis, if any, and maybe research methods as well, right? So why research question and research objectives? Actually, they're the same thing, but why do you express them in different ways? Because you try to make yourself understood easily by other people, right? Research question is actually a kind of similar to research objective in different forms, that's all. For example, if you ask a question like this in research question section, okay, could or can this medicine cure COVID-19? In the objective, you say, okay, to identify if this medicine can cure COVID-19. That's all. The same content, but you just repeat it that way. Okay, again, you try to make yourself reader friendly. That's all. Okay, this is it clear, Kenlin? Okay, so you don't start with result right away, but you refer back to something in the previous sections or some related, methodology, related scholarship by other professors. Okay, and then you discuss your result later. Okay, in sentence 3 and 4, the writer refers back to her own methodology and adds more information about it. Something like that. Okay, refer back. It's still not a focus just yet. Okay, in sentence number 5, figure 1 or table 1 shows the result obtained using them. So it is a kind of sentence that introduces the reader to the table you've got. The writer invites the reader to look at the graph, the figure or the table, right? Figure 1 shows something, picture 1 shows something, table 1 shows something, chart 1 shows something. That is the language you can use to write to lead in to your result section or your result numbers. And now, okay, in sentence 6, not until now. Can you see that they go directly to the specific results? Okay, as can be seen during morning peak time journeys, the carbon monoxide concentrations for car passengers were significantly lower than for pedestrians, something like that. Okay, so here the writer refers to specific results and compare them with those obtained in another study using subjective, evaluative, something like that. Okay, so now it is a kind of like result per se, right? Okay, and in sentence number 7, the writer offers a general statement about his or her result to begin a new paragraph. Okay, bây giờ mình có hai cái kết quả khác nhau, thì hai kết quả này mình phải nói là với nhau bằng một cái từ gì đó nó kết nối. Đây là cái kết nối nè, em nè. However gì đó, nó kết nối hai cái kết quả của khác nhau. Okay. And sentence 8. Okay, specific result again. The second group of results. Okay. Then the next one. Okay. Result again. Right. Specific result again. Then this one. The writer mentions a problem in the results and uses quantity language to minimize the significance. Như vậy thì không chỉ là trình bày kết quả không, mà mình còn bình luận vào kết quả nữa. Okay, you don't just mention result, you comment, you critique, you mention a problem on the result as well. Okay, so the result section is not just about result, but it's some lead in the result and then some critique or pushback or comment as well. Okay, the writer makes a reference to the implications and application of the work she has done. Implication and application as well. Thì tụi em thấy đôi khi tụi em thấy mình đọc học cách viết như vậy nó trùng lắp rất là nhiều chỗ, nhưng mà cái vấn đề là emphasis thôi. Ví dụ như là phần list review thì mình nói chủ yếu là ở phần list review section, nhưng mà những cái phần khác đôi khi mình trích dẫn mình cũng giống như list review luôn, mình cũng phải trích dẫn nữa, nhưng mà nó không có quan trọng bằng ở cái phần list review thôi. In the same way, you know, here you talk about implications and application, even though at the end next week when you learn about discussion, you mention implication, application again. Ha, thì phải thầy nhắc tụi em này, cái nguyên tắc khi tụi em viết á, là một cái phần, như cái phần result hay cái phần methodology thì nó là một cái phần như vậy thôi, nhưng mà nó phải có đầu và có đuôi. Cái đầu tức là mình liên với cái phần trước nó, và cái đuôi là liên tới cái phần sau nó. Cái implication và application tức là cái phần sau nó, cái chính là phần sau nó, tức là nó sẽ liên với cái phần discussion later on. Okay, so you see a lot of hooks, a lot of transitional devices, a lot of hooks. So each section is hooked with the previous one and the later one, the following one. Is it clear, class? Okay, so overall speaking, this is the structure of your writing section. Sorry, your result section. So part one, you revisit the research aim or existing research. Maybe you talk a little bit about your methodology, right? Then you give an overview of results. Các em nhớ ha, cái gì nó không có đầu có đuôi hết á. Cái gì mình phải giới thiệu sơ sơ rồi mới vô chi tiết được. Okay, it is an overview of results. When you write an essay, you must have a kind of introduction. When you write a body paragraph, you must have a topic sentence, right? When you write a result section, you must have a kind of overview of results. And then part two, you have a transitional sentence that invite people to view your results. Here you analyze your tables, the charts, the graphs, so on and so forth. Okay, very specific and key results in detail, with or without explanation. Usually we provide explanation, comparison with result in other research, comparison with model predictions, so on and so forth. And part three, problems with results, the comments on results. And part four, possible implication of results. And of course here, part two is the most important one. All right, okay, that is all for my lecture today, class. I want to reserve the last half an hour so that you can work on in your pairs and you continue working on your project. Okay, I'm here to answer your questions if any. I'm still here until 12:15. Okay, I'm still here online. Do you have any question about the result section now? Okay, so please get back to your Google Doc and complete your information there. Okay, and discuss with your partners if possible right now. I'm here, to answer your questions or or explain something further if necessary. Midterm result, I will, it should be available this week, later this week, I think. So, okay, Hugh, so please be patient and, it will be uploaded to Edusoft, I think. It will be available there soon. I uploaded the score already to Edusoft and it takes a while for them to process and have it available to you. Okay. Any more questions? Thanh Mai, okay. Let me explain in Vietnamese now, okay, Thanh Mai? Bây giờ vậy nè ha. Bây giờ nè. Cái phần 5 bài đọc á, vậy nè, là hôm bữa thầy Thanh Mai hôm bữa có đi học không? Thanh Mai tuần trước có đi học không? Okay, let me explain again. Okay, những bạn khác cũng nghe thầy nói lại này ha. Bây giờ á, là cái bước đầu tiên của mình đó là mình sẽ phân tích cái chủ đề của mình, chủ đề nghiên cứu của mình ha. Rồi từ chủ đề đó mình tìm ra 2 hoặc là 3 cái concept quan trọng, được chưa? Ví dụ một bạn nói là cái gì green gì đó, tức là nó có 2-3 thuật ngữ quan trọng gì đó, mình lựa ra 2 hoặc 3. Rồi sau đó mình dùng cái thuật ngữ quan trọng đó làm cái keyword để mình tìm bài báo ở trên Google Scholar ha. Rồi mình đọc hết 2 bài báo đó về cùng một chủ đề đó, xem họ viết cái gì, mình tổng hợp lại về cái chủ đề đó làm thành một cái phần của list review rồi. Và tiếp theo mình tới cái concept thứ hai, mình cũng làm y chang như vậy, 2-3 bài báo gì đó, rồi mình tổng hợp lại thành cái mục thứ hai trong list review. Thì cỡ như vậy là xong rồi ha. Như vậy thì mình đọc bài báo mục đích là để mình viết cái list review thôi. Còn những cái phần ở trên thì mình tự viết. Phần ở trên ví dụ như con nghiên cứu thì mình đã có rồi, thầy mình đã nói rồi đúng không nè. Rồi cái thông tin dẫn nhập này nó thì tự viết, tự dẫn từ vô thôi. Chứ còn những cái bài báo tụi em đọc là để phục vụ cho cái phần viết list review thôi. Mà cái bước đầu thì nhắc lại là mình break up cái chủ đề của mình ra thành những concept lớn, Rồi từ cái concept đó mình mới tìm được bài báo tương ứng để mình đọc, rồi mình hiểu rõ hơn về concept đó. Okay, any more question? Is it clear? Cái phần này thầy biết khó lắm, cho nên thầy mới muốn mấy đứa đi học, rồi mấy đứa phải làm bài tập, rồi mấy đứa phải từ từ hỏi đủ thứ chuyện hết. Thì từ từ nó ok ha, nó khó lắm. Any more questions? So last week I told you that you have to submit to me your draft on week 13, but maybe it is not a good way. So I think from next week on, you can share with me your paper on Zoom, and I give feedback right away instantly, and so that you can revise it very quickly at home. Okay, that's the way it is. So from next week, beside a short lecture on discussion, I will give you the time so that you can share your slide, you can share your writing or your structure, your ongoing writing on the screen, and I give feedback right on the spot. That's the best way to help you. Okay. Thầy nhắc lại nè ha. Như vậy từ tuần sau thì tôi bắt đầu viết đi. Rồi từ tuần sau là thầy sẽ tuần sau thầy sẽ nói một cái bài lecture khoảng 20 phút thôi. Và thầy dành phần còn lại đó thầy cho tụi em share cái phần của tụi em để thầy feedback liền tại chỗ. Đó là cách mà thầy giúp tụi em đó. Okay, so please keep working with your partner and let me know if you have any questions or problems. I'm still here. Okay, I'm still being here. Again, please start working now. Otherwise, it is going to be late. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can share it to me right now. Yeah, don't write to email, okay? Just share it right now on the screen. So what is your name, please? Okay, Ngọc. Okay. So I make you the host so that you can share your paper to me, okay? Okay, Ngọc, you can share now. You can share your screen now. Không được Ngọc ơi, bây giờ cái dạng mà em gửi qua đó nó không biết sao là thầy không lưu không đọc trên máy của thầy được. Ngọc ơi, mình cái này mình chưa có làm, em chưa có làm nghiên cứu thì em không thể có kết quả được Ngọc ơi. Ok, kết quả đây chỉ là anticipated thôi. Và thầy chỉ muốn em viết cái abstract sau khi em làm xong mọi thứ rồi. Nó là phần cuối cùng em viết chứ không viết ngay đầu tiên được. Ok. Yeah, I got it, Ngọc. I saw it. Okay. But don't write abstract at the beginning. And It looks good. It looks good. It is a very good direction. You please keep working. Yeah, it looks nice. Okay. Anybody else? All right. So so I think that if you don't have any questions, so let's call it a day now, okay? And if you have any problems, please drop me an email. I cannot, receive your draft by email because I receive a lot of them every day. So I cannot keep track of them. I can lose them. Okay. So try, let's start writing and share with me next week in class so that I can give feedback on. That is the best way to give feedback, to get feedback from me or for your final project. All right. So stay safe. And if you travel somewhere, make sure that you wear your mask and try to communicate with your partner and your peer and start working on the final project as soon as possible. Okay, the more you delay it, the more difficult it is later in the future, and the more you feel tired at the end of the semester. Okay, so let's call it a day now, folks, and I want you to spend time for your lunch or something, and have a good week. Can I help you? And I will see you again next week, and bye bye.